everyone, my name is Esther Ijuade, and I am a recent graduate student from one of the best schools in Canada. Yeah, so I did my master's in meat science, meat, aero science. Ah, just ignore me. So the reason for this video actually is to talk about how to process your admissions to schools in Canada, especially if you are interested in research based study for your master's and for your PhD. Why I chose to do this video is just because I get a lot of questions from people about securing admission, getting funded during your program, and all sort of questions. So I decided to address most of them in this video so that I don't keep typing to them all over again. It can be really, really stressful, like I don't have to keep typing, calling, making calls just to explain the process all over again to different people at different times. So I just decided that making a video and sharing with everyone will be the best thing to do. So I want you to know that this is going to be based on my own personal experience, which is not that different from my colleagues and my friends. But maybe over time I can talk to some of my friends to also share their experience, and I can also upload their videos. But for now it's just about my experience, how I went through the whole process. So I made some notes just so I don't miss out on any vital point. So I'm going to be talking a great deal about the important requirements that you actually need. So the most important of all, guess. Okay, is your CGPA. To be considered for admission here in Canada, you have to have 3.0 on the 4.0 scale. I mean, for research based, I don't know. I really don't know much about course based because I'm not a course based student. But for research, I know you have to have 3.0 on the 4.0 scale. And for those people who are on the 5.0 scale, you have to convert your CGPA to the equivalent. Just go on Google on how to calculate it, or you can message me on how to calculate it. I can explain to you. So, and in your last 2 years also, you have to have like 3.0 on the 4.0 scale CGPA. Your last 2 years has to be first class. So that helps for them to determine if you are eligible for the admission. So for those of you in school, please, I mean, unless, I mean, you're rich enough, but if you want to really pursue your masters or PhD abroad, and you know that, like for me, I'm from a very humble background, and I know that my parents cannot afford to send me to Canada to study because I have siblings too. So you have to be serious with your study, especially your undergrad. You have to be able to make a CGPA. Whatever you do, make sure you put in your best. So, and for those of us who has this CGPA already, shoot, I mean, you're good to go. But for those of us who do not have it, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do. Like, I'm not exaggerating this. I think also in US and every other school, for you to qualify for scholarships or fund, you have to have a very strong CGPA, like a first class or a very strong 2-1. So you don't want to joke about that. So that is the first important, that is like the most important point. Like when I talk to people, the first question I ask is, please, what is your CGPA? If you tell me it's second class, I'm like, I'm sorry, like I don't even bother stressing myself to go through the whole process. So please, if you are still in school, I know what I'm talking about. Like this even makes you stand out when it comes to, when you see a lot of scholarship advertisement, you are able to like push forward your application. So please, if you are still in school, I beseech you to do your best. do your best to come out with a very good grade. Now I've turned to a motivational speaker, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's the most important point. So you convert your CGPA if you're on a 5.0 scale like I was, so you convert it to a 4.0 scale CGPA. So the next step is to identify the area of specialization you are interested in. I mean, in your field. Like, I studied animal science, but in animal science, we have animal nutrition, animal physiology, we have animal health, we have meat science, meat and carcass science, we have animal breeding and genetics. But I was interested in meat science because during my final year project, I worked on meat. So, I mean, and I went to abattoirs. That was what aroused my curiosity to know more about meat. So I knew what I wanted from the start of it. I've had so many people who message me and I'm like, what are you interested in? They're like, they are interested in food science. Sorry, they're interested in engineering, and I'm like, do you have an area of specialization you would like to venture into? They're like, engineering. Said no. I mean, so you have to know what you're interested in, because that also helps you have to be like really really interested in that area in your field, because when you start your research is actually I feel like people don't really know. I mean, I didn't really know what research was. Research is underrated. I mean, research should be rated more than it is. You have to be interested in what you want to pursue, because this gives you the drive to push on. This drives you to want to do your best because you really want to know more about that thing. So you have to identify your area of interest even before thinking about writing to professors, because this will also help you to know who you should write to. So after you have done that, you know that okay, you studied animal science, you are interested in meat science. So the next thing for you to do is to, what I did actually was that I searched for professors in Canada who are meat science professors, like who studied mid science or who teaches mid science and who has funding. That was what I did. I just went on Google, list of professors in Canada who are specialized in mid science and who has funding. So some name actually popped up, and boom, I saw my supervisor. I read about her. I was like, interesting. She was a meat and caca science specialist, and she has fund. She has a program whereby she takes in students. She introduces them to the meat science industry. So, I mean, I was interested in her. Then I saw some other professors too that I was interested in. Then I checked. I checked for their schools. That was how I chose my school. Although some people will start by checking for list of schools, that actually they do their courses, they have their courses, before they go on their website to check for professors. But I did like the reverse. I searched for professors first before I checked for schools. And some schools you should look out for are University of Manitoba, University of Alberta, University of McGill, Saskatchewan, Calgary, and so on. Waterloo, they are public universities that accept students for research. So they have, some of the professors as funding. So that was what I did. Then I came across like three professors that I was interested to work with. So the next step was the next step I took was that I wrote to my supervisor. I wrote to the professors I saw. Why? Because that was required for my admission in the school they were. Some department, and because of the department, they required you to get the supervisor first, to write to the supervisor first. So once the supervisor accepts you, then you can proceed with the admission. But for some department, agric economics department, They will ask you to apply for admission first. Then I think they would, before they are considered for the admission, they would search for supervisors for you themselves. But for my own department, I had to secure. I think most departments will ask you to actually secure supervisor first before you proceed with your admission. So that was what I did. I had to like, excuse me, I had to get supervisor first before I could proceed with my admission. So here comes my story. So I wrote, you need a statement of interest. Then, most importantly, you need to have your student copy of transcripts. You need to have your transcript, like transcript. You need to get that from school, your transcript, your certificate. Then you need your statement of interest. You need to write a statement of, they call it statement of interest, statement of purpose, or statement of intent. So you have to write that. And that should actually capture who you are, where you're coming from, I mean your background, like what you studied. I don't mean family background. I mean your what you studied in school, like how good your communication is, your CGPA, you know, what you did in school, your internship experience as well, what you were taught, I mean the courses you took in school, then why you want to work with the person you're writing to, I mean the professor, and why you chose the school. So this statement of interest should kind of tell them, should say a lot about you. Do you understand? So that when they read it, they're able to have an idea of who this person writing to them is. You can state where you are from also. And also you have to make your find research very well. Like you have to read about the professor, you have to read about some of their works, the works they've done, so that if you've done something that is related to their work, you can kind of, you can kind of construct your statement of intent to fit their area of research, what they've actually done before. That was what I did. I saw that my supervisor was interested in meat quality, and I did some meat quality analysis too when I did my undergraduate project. So I was able to kind of, you know, work based on what she does and what I did also. So you have to be able to do that. You have to prove to her that if she accepts you, like you understand what she's doing in her lab, and I mean these things are not really strange to you. So and when you are addressing the in that statement of interest, you have your own address on the, like a formal letter, right? You have your own address, you have our address, like in the school. You have to prove to her that yes, you've done your research, you know where our office is. Do you understand? So you have to like write a very good statement of intent, because that is the first thing they get to read from you. That is the first thing that will captivate their hearts towards you. So I make sure that my statement of intent was super good. I actually went on Google, I searched for samples of statement of intent. I spoke to some friends who actually told me about um getting a supervisor, and who actually told me about how it works in Canada. So I told them and I got their own statement of intent too, which also helped me to like construct mine. So you have to, I mean, that statement of intent is very, very important. So after that, so now I said you should get your statement of intent, your transcript. You don't need to send your certificate, but your transcript is important, and your CV. You have to have your CV too, like that shows that okay, you have experience in this particular field, even if it's just your internship experience. You have to have that, and also I sent my picture. I sent a picture of me working in the lab, like when I was working on during my final year project. So I was working on meat. I actually took a picture then, so I sent that to the professor. So and I make sure that when I wanted to send those four uh important things to her, I calculated the time difference. You have to understand that there is time difference between wherever you are and where she is. If you are in Nigeria, it changes. It can be 7 hours, 8 hours difference, and it also depends on the province that she is. So you have to calculate those things too. So I made sure that I sent my everything to her on Monday morning, 9 a.m., so that when she gets to her office, I know she's going to want to read through her email. So she's going to see that as well. So that was what I did. I sent it to her on Monday morning, 9 a.m. But then, after 2 weeks, I got no response from her, or should I say them, because I sent it to three supervisors. I got no response actually. So I waited for like 2 weeks. So, but then within 2 weeks, I got responses from two of the professors, and they were like, "Oh, Esther, we are sorry, we do not have funds." I'm like, "Oh, okay, good." So, but then the person I was really interested in was yet to reply. So I had to wait for another 1 week. When I saw that no reply was forthcoming, I picked up my phone because I saw a number. Then I called her 9 a.m. on Monday morning. So she picked up, and I was like, "Hi." Then I spoke to her. I said, "Hi, my name is Esther." She was like, "Oh, Esther, did you," like, she pronounced my name. It was so funny. I don't want to pronounce it. Now that I remember, like, so I said yes. Like, I was surprised that she could remember. I mean, she knows who was talking. She said, "So you're from Nigeria?" I said, "Yes, I'm from Nigeria." She said, "Oh, I saw what you sent, but then I've not had the time to go through it because I am currently on leave, but I should be back to work on Monday next week. So I'm going to go through all you sent, your document, and I'm going to get back to you." Oh my, you need to see the joy in my heart. You know why? She did not tell me that, "Oh, I don't have funding." So that was like a green light for me, you know. I was so happy. I was like, "Okay, I'll call you back." She said, "Oh, you might not have to call back. I'm going to get back to her." I said, "Okay, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much." And that was it. After 2 weeks, I did not hear from her. Sad. Excuse me. But then I called her back on a Monday morning, and I said, "Hi." She said, "Hi, is that Esther?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I tried to call you, like, I've been expecting you to get back to me, and but then I'm yet to hear from you and all that." She was like, "Oh, so true. Like, can I call your referee, like the person you wrote like on your CV? We should be your HOD. We should be able to, pick up your call, because I actually, my HOD was my referee, and my one of my other lecturer. So she was like, "Can I talk to them? I need to ask them some questions." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, you should, like, go ahead." But then I was really so nervous, so I said, "I am really so nervous." She said, "Really? I can't feel that." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because you are the very first." Over my mouth. I said, "Because you're the very first white person I will talk to." She was like, "Wow, so sweet. Okay, Esther, I'm going to reach out to those people and I will get back to you." I said, "Okay, thank you." After 2 weeks again, because I was counting, the days were slow. And that was during my service. I would like to say that if you've started your service, then you should start processing right now, especially in this 2020. You don't want to wait till after your service before you start saying that, "Oh, I want to go for my master's." You should start right away, because it takes a long time before you get supervisor, before you get your admission, before you get your visa, which is like the most important. So you have to, like, start right. You have to start once you've started your service. Get your transcript, get your certificate, get everything you will need. So you have to start. So I think she called them, and she got back to me. She was like, "Oh, I spoke to Patience Fakolade." She was like, I think I know about your professor because I attended the conference and she was present." Then I said, "Oh yeah, it's possible, because actually my HOD in Nigeria attended that conference where my work was actually presented." So I was like, "Yeah, it's possible, it's true. She attends CMSA." And she was like, "Oh, So sorry, she attend RMC, that's AMSA. She was like, oh, I think I've heard about her before. So I called her, I spoke to her, and I'll get back to you again for the third time. Oh my god, I was like, oh sure, no worries. So after 1 week, I got a message from her, and she was like, Esther, I would like to work with you. And before you ask, yes, I do have funding from you for you, so you should go ahead and apply for your admission. Oh my god, the joy in my heart. Joy, joy, joy. The joy in my heart, oh my, I could not explain it. So I was so happy, and I started the process, and I applied for the admission, which required you to upload your certificate. Then some schools in Canada actually exempt Nigerians from writing English tests. TOEFL, IELTS, you don't have to. Once your language of instruction during your undergrad study was in English, all you have to do, I mean, they actually got back to me that I have to get a letter from the registrar stating that my language of instruction during my undergraduate study was in English. So I got the letter and I uploaded it, and that was it. So after I think after 4 weeks service was done, I was back home. My parents were asking me what is the next step, and I said, oh, I applied this and that. And they're like, are you sure? But then I also did UI exam, you don't want to risk these things. So but then I was back home waiting to hear from them. But after 4 weeks, I got my admission letter. Oh my, you needed to see that day. I was in the living room when I got the letter. My parents were in the compound. I ran to them. I'm like, guess what? I got admission in Canada. My mom, typical African woman. Oh my gosh, she started rolling on the floor. It was such a great experience. I mean, it was just such a happy moment. My parents were really, really so excited, and I also got the note from them that your funding letter will be sent a week from now. I was so happy, like I was really, really so happy. So after that, I applied for my admission. Sorry, what am I saying? After that 1 week, I got a letter from them stating that I will be funded so amount, and that was it. That was it. That was so I was so happy. And the next step I took was to just go apply for my visa, which was like another story on its own. But right now I'm not going to be talking about that unless you want me to talk about it. But for now, I'm just strictly on the admission process. But I would like to share my visa process experience. So hey, it was not easy at all. I mean, that was like applying for admission. Even admission was not as stressful as that too. Hey, because and I did it by myself. I don't believe in using agents to like do your visa process for you. In short, I would advise that you do it yourself. So that is the end of my story. I hope you are able to learn. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to like list the key points once more. What you need is your CGPA. You need your good CGPA. You need a very strong CGPA. Like your CGPA, it's very, very important. Your transcripts, your transcripts, your transcripts. Then you have to search for a supervisor. You have to like know how to write your statement of intent. You have to know about the professor you're interested in. You have to read their paper, because I have a friend who said that she had to do Skype presentation, for the supervisor. Do you understand? So you have to know what they are working on. You have to read their papers. You have to know them personally, like read about them. So, and what else? Your the time difference, you have to study that. You can't just write to them anytime you feel like, because it can be middle of the night. If you want them to say, like, you have to target that time. So, and I feel like the call also helped. Like you have to get to that point that you will be able, like if they don't respond to you, you should, excuse me, you should call them. So yeah, that is all, I mean, for now. So if you have questions, you can just leave me a message, or yeah, you can just leave me a message. I'll be able to address that. And also I plan on sharing my friends and colleagues video as well, just so that you can get to know about their experience as well. But that was my experience. I wrote to three supervisors before I could get one to accept me. It can be really, really challenging. I've had friends who have been searching for professors, supervisors for like 2 years now, and nothing is forthcoming. But we all have different stories. Theirs might not be forthcoming, but yours might just be once. So don't say that, oh, because of this person. Yeah, it's worth trying. Like it is, I mean, just do everything to make it possible, to make it work out. And I don't think it's only in Canada you can do that. USA also, they have supervisors who are willing to accept you. You just have to do your GRE exam. Yeah, so and you can always look for supervisors. So I hope this video, like, why I focus on Canada is because I am in Canada, so you can also check for other countries, their requirements. I mean, just give it a try and I'm sure you will not regret it. So I hope this video helps one or two persons out there. That is just my um objective. So yeah. Have a nice time or day, or yeah, bye for now.